Hi, my name's Lindy and welcome back to my channel. The title of the video today is going to be something along the lines of February 2023 Energy Update. But before I launch in, I just want to say to those of you that have been subscribed for a long time and to those new subscribers, thank you for your time and attention. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. I do hope that you are all doing well. We now have January 2023 under our belts, so to speak. So that month has already gone and we're into February. So this is going to be, let's say, live channeled through my heart. So I haven't pre-planned it. I haven't made notes. So I'm not quite sure where it's going to go, but I was just felt suddenly the impetus to do this today. Before I go any further, there's just one thing I'd like to say. I'm really interested in doing some live in-person events. That's live in-person events internationally or live in-person events in the UK, probably both. I'm also interested in doing some live online events, whether they would be paying a nominal fee for that or whether they would be free, I'm not sure at the moment, but I'd like to gauge the level of interest that people have in that, and if there is a particular direction or subject people would like me to talk about, channel on, or let's say teach, any of those. So if you would be kind enough to drop me an email or message me in some way, I will just make a note of what the level of interest is and what people would like me to be talking about or teaching or sharing or doing in that respect. I'm very much feeling very passionate about getting back out there, doing not only live events online but actually in person and stuff like that. So that's very strongly in me at the moment, which really ties into this video. Because one of the first changes I'm going to link into here is that as soon as we really tipped over from December 2022 into January 2023, it became very obvious, and it certainly did to me on a soul level, that massive changes that I'd been putting off had to happen within me and therefore outside of me. And when it's happening to you, you think you're the only one, but then you realize actually by working internationally with other people or by hearing other channelers one respects their work of, that they are actually saying the same thing and feeling the same thing. So for me, once I got past December 2023, my soul was saying to me, I need to get back out there. I need to be doing much bigger events, live events, online events, talking, teaching, podcasts, that kind of thing, which is really, in a way, where I'm at my best. And I really love that. And I actually love being kept on my toes at live events as well. And I just really enjoy that, and I'm passionate about it. And it's what I'm best at, really. So it doesn't mean to say I won't be doing the one-to-ones. I'll still be doing one-to-one sessions, but I'm very much going to be trying to open things up now. This is for my own well-being. My soul is directing me in this direction, and there are other things I want to do that come from that. Different ideas, I've got for things I'm playing around with now and various directions. So anybody that's interested in any online event teachings, or they have the facility to set up some kind of event in the country they're in or in the United Kingdom, just drop me an email. I appreciate that. And I'd like to gauge the level of interest, but also what people are looking for, because there are multiple subjects I can cover within the work that I do and also talk on or channel on or share. So just like me, my soul has been nagging me to make changes, which, when I say nagging me, it's now become impossible not to, because when the soul is that loud, it becomes too untenable and uncomfortable to ignore it. And it may be the same for many of you, and this will apply across the board to maybe the work that you're doing, to maybe your image, your body image, your habits, your addictions, your weight, your living situation, your relationships, your home where you live, you know, the work that you do, it's right across the board, and it may be coming up in one area for you, or it may be coming up in multiple areas for you. But basically the souls are now saying any changes you were putting off, or even changes you didn't know you were putting off but just sitting there, now is the time for change, and now is the time for a complete recalibration and really decisions on a very deep level coming from the soul of where one wants to go with their life, and are they living their truth? Is one living their truth? Is one living authentically? And it's a really interesting one, this one. And again, I talk personally, but professionally, experientially, working with many people from across the world now for the last 22 years. And what I will say is it's sometimes living authentically and doing something that one feels one must experience, and they have a sense that it's something, a world that they have to dip into, can bring about so much judgment and condemnation from others. And when this happens, a lot of that condemnation and judgment from others is really their stuff and their projection and reflection upon you, because there's some unresolved matter or material within them. And there's a lot of judgment and coming up from people at the moment that don't like you to be living your authentic self. And how you really know you're being authentic to yourself is really your emotional reaction to what it is you are doing, but also if there's any triggering around it, and also how you feel within yourself, how self-aware, how conscious you are around that. So, you know, this is a time when one is choosing to live authentically because one really doesn't have a choice anymore. If you are becoming more conscious, going through an ascension process on your way to unification or 0 point field of energy within your heart, you are compelled to become more self-aware, more authentic, not other people's idea of authenticity. That's their shit. You are compelled to become more authentic within yourself, living your truth, not what someone else says should be your truth. Your truth, whatever that truth is, being true to yourself. That is now compelling for people, and because that's compelling for people, it means changes are happening. And again, these changes are maybe within relationships, new relationships coming in, relationships you've been in going out, sometimes in a dramatic fashion, changing of living circumstances, changing of work. And like I say, it can be one area or all areas. But there are big changes upon us because the timer on the souls has gone off. We cannot take with us that repressed material that is very much held in the magnetics and around the magnetics of the soul into this journey of consciousness that we're on, because it's too heavy and it's a lower vibratory state. Heavy, unconscious, projected, repressed material that is of our soul, whether from this reality or one of the multidimensional realities, what you call past lives, future lives, whatever, it carries a certain density and a certain heaviness and a certain frequency with it. And where we've lived with that all these years, it's now very difficult to. We have to release it. It has to be freed up, because otherwise it is like bags of sand on a hot air balloon. And as you are trying to take off and lift up in your consciousness, this will pull you back continuously into this looping black hole, which I have brought videos out on the black holes around human consciousness. If you look back on my channel, and you'll just go round, like rag dolls in the washing machine, round and round you'll go. And we've all been there and we all do it. So we have to release this stuff. And sometimes we need help with releasing it because it's a specialist kind of thing to release it. And sometimes it's just self-awareness. The bottom line with all of this is you have to be prepared, as hard as it is, to have the mindset of being able to let things and people and situations go. Believe me, I know how difficult that is. I know how difficult that is through personal and professional experience, because we have such strong feelings and such strong attachments and sometimes such strong love and such strong emotion around a job or around a home or around a lover, around a relationship, around family, around a person, that it is the most hardest thing I truly feel as a human being to be prepared to just let it go. And there's an irony to this, because if one is prepared to let it go, whatever that is, that thing is, the it is, there is often a boomerang effect where that situation, that person can actually boomerang back round and come to you in a different form, perhaps let's say a higher consciousness form or a non-attachment form. It can boomerang round and return to you. Now, it doesn't always. Sometimes it boings out and it stays out, but it can boomerang back round again. But the bottom line is, the more we hold on, like the Titanic going out, the film The Titanic, Kate Winslet, Leonardo DiCaprio, where the Titanic's going down and they're holding on to the bars, and they know it's going down, but they're going to holding on for dear life. The more we just hold on and hold on, the more we have that resistance inside us about whatever it is, the state of the world or the relationship we're in or the job we're in or whatever it is, the more we have this little tug of war going on inside us, the more suffering and pain, mental, physical and emotional, will be unleashed. And it's much higher now because everything is amplified. With the raising of consciousness, with the ascension process, with the journey into the 0 point field of consciousness energy, everything's amplified. The wonderful is amplified. Our joyous gratitude, love states are amplified, but equally our suffering and misery and pain is amplified because it's all amplified now. So this is another reason why it's so important to be able to have the mindset of letting go. Humans think they can control everything. We really think that we can control everything, and we really cannot. There are only certain things within our limited control, and the rest of it isn't within our control. So we have to become as self-aware as we possibly can and as mindful as we possibly can to try to nurture, take care, love, support ourselves within ourselves, have a relationship within ourselves, so that everything outside of us doesn't flatten us. We have to be the eye at the center of the storm, the eye at the center of the storm, so that the storm around us doesn't just yank us out like Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz gets yanked out, house goes up in the storm and taken to the into this other land. We have to be in this state of energy where no matter what shit goes down, no matter what shit goes down in our personal life or professional life or global situation, that we can still be in that space of I am not flattened. I am like wheat blowing in the breeze, and I am prepared to let everything go. Everything and everyone. And it doesn't mean to say you do have to let everything and everyone go, but you have to have the energy of, I am not rigidly clinging to the rails of the Titanic with anyone or anything. You have to be able to flow, not stand rigidly like cement. You have to be able to flow with the river of consciousness that you are, and the river of consciousness that you are in. You have to be able to flow with it. I know as a human being how difficult that is. Life will continuously hurl bowling balls at you to almost test you and prompt you to see what it is that you have to let go of, or are you prepared to let go of it? Sometimes it's just being prepared to let go of it. It's the change of consciousness around it. And there isn't actually a physical separation of a relationship or a physical coming away from a house or a physical change like that, but that it's a consciousness change around it. But often the two go hand in hand and the physical matches up to it, because the energy state comes first, then the physical rapidly follows from that. So whatever it is, one has to be prepared within themselves in a way to almost face their worst fears, really. One has to be prepared to almost take a deep breath, come into their center, relax, and just let it go, accept. Now, I'm not going to say to you, you can feel like that overnight in 30 seconds. Whatever it's about, you could have been in a marriage for 25 years. You could have gone through numerous situations, and you're not a robot. You're not artificial intelligence. You can't overnight suddenly go zen and just switch to that. But what I'm saying is your primary objective as you move through whatever you're moving through, the grief, the loss, the shock, the soul shock, whatever it is you're going through, the primary objective is to move with it. Move with it. And I know it's hard to move with something that's made you go, and you're frozen solid like that. You've got to move with it and be prepared to mentally, physically, emotionally, soully, spiritually accept it and let it go. The faster you can do that, the less suffering and pain you'll be in. But of course, you cannot fast track whatever grief. You can't fast track some of these things. It's different for everyone depending on what that might impact onto previous life events. And I've been a huge advocate since the day I started this YouTube channel of saying nobody has to do it on their own. Nobody has to be an island. Everybody can reach out to help for somebody, whether it's professional help or help from friends or something. And I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't reached out for help when I hit the lowest point of my life in January 2022. So everybody, I highly recommend they reach out for support if they need it, because sometimes these things can be overwhelming. But we are in a time now, an unprecedented time, where we are under the magnifying glass like never before. And we now have zero choice, no choice. If we don't get into this mindset and this flow and this movement now, we are going to suffer unbelievably, because non-stop transition and transformation now is full on like never before inside us, to get us to become conscious, to connect consciously, to relate consciously, to live consciously. But that we've also got this massive change going on in the world, where the unconscious, repressed, and sometimes very deeply negatively entrenched programs and agendas and scenarios are also battling to hang on in there, even though they are losing that battle. They're battling to hang on in there, so there's still quite a lot of polarization. Not nowhere near as much as there was, but there's still some going on. And we have change because of that. We have change because of the transformation of human consciousness. And we have change because of the agendas being pushed by this. And all in all, we have a little bit of this going on, like a seesaw, not exactly a tug of war, but we have this going on, and both ends of that spectrum equal change. Non-stop change. Non-stop change for the foreseeable future change. We have to cope with that, so we don't get flattened and go into shock and fear and, oh my God. We have to sort our shit out inside. We have to connect consciously inside ourselves. We have got to get to the state where if everything else has gone around us, and I'm not saying it's going to be like that, but I'm just using that as an example, we have to all get to the state where we can sit in our own energy and have self-awareness, a sense of almost calm and peace, and love and acceptance of oneself. Total love and acceptance of oneself, no matter what you have or haven't done in your life, what so-called mistakes you think you've made, what actions you've made that you look back on and think you shouldn't have made. It doesn't matter any of those. Here and now is all we have, because everything has come into the now, 0 point. We have to be in that space where you are giving back to yourself with that mindset, which creates a vibrational frequency 24/7. No matter what the outside world is saying or doing, no matter what changes are going on there, which is going to be, we're going to be doing this and a bit of juggling and some big, big things coming out of left field, and some of those things quite dramatic in the world. That's why you've got to be able to do this flow, and you've got to be able to be in here. And then you won't be flattened by any of it. You'll just take a deep breath. I'm safe. I'm here. I know who I am. It's all right. Consciousness never ends. It's fine. I'm in the eye of the storm. It's whirling around me. And from that space, you won't be, I'm not saying you won't be affected, especially when things are up close and emotional and personal, but you will never be steamrolled by it. You can come back to that place, almost like a sense of safety or a sense of home in the heart. And we are at a point here where we're really being invited to create what comes next, not just waiting for things to happen, but as the world is morphing into what's called the new energy, the ascension reality is here, alive and well, despite how it might seem on the surface with this more negative agenda-y thing still there, but nowhere near as big as it was, but still there, still active. I'm talking globally. One is invited to play with the energy of creation, to create what comes next and create one's reality. And I have taught many times how to use the ball of creation, but I'm going to say it again. An easy way to start playing with the energy of creation is to spend about 10 minutes per day, every day, for the next 6 to 7 weeks. Why that long? Because to set the neural pathway up in the brain so it becomes a habit, and so that your consciousness takes over and does it automatically without you doing it consciously. You would sit with your eyes closed, hands over your heart, connect to a childlike joy inside you, a childlike joyful memory from your childhood, or if your childhood wasn't joyful at all, you create or invent a childlike joyful memory strong enough that with your eyes closed, you are smiling. Then you envision in front of you, you imagine that there is a boulder sized, large ball of energy, your personal ball of creation, that is rotating clockwise very, very slowly. You direct from your metaphysical heart, from the childlike joy feeling. It won't work if you don't come from that feeling. You send the childlike joyful feeling into your ball of creation to power it up, to fire it up, to give it living consciousness, your living consciousness. Then you place the ingredients into that ball of creation of yours that you wish. So if it's a loving, joyful relationship, you feel the energy of the loving, joyful relationship. You might see glimpses of the person, how they look, or you might see none. But the important thing is the feeling of it. You feel that joyful relationship. If it's a home, you feel the home. You might see flashes of images of it. It might be light and bright. It might be up high in the hills. You know, you see little bits, but don't get specific. If you get too detailed, you'll drop the frequency. Keep returning to the childlike joy in the heart. Beam it back into your ball of creation. There is no limitation to how many things you put in that. You could put home, relationship, job, anything. Or it could be all around one thing. The important thing is the childlike joy from your heart and directing it into it so strong that you can smile, and you go with the feeling of your creation being here now, because now is all there is. You must have the energy and the mindset of it being now. To play with that ball of creation every day is a wonderful, wonderful tool and a wonderful start to getting in the energy of creation, which is an octave higher than the energy of positive thinking or manifestation. So it's playing with the energy of creation. It's letting go of what you know in your heart you have to let go of. Because if we don't, it's often taken out of our control. It's ripped away from us. And if it's ripped away from us, that really, really hurts 10 times worse. Much worse if spirit or your soul takes it out of your hand and goes bang and does it anyway. But it's letting go. And sometimes the things you have to let go of are way beyond the level of your conscious thought, and you'll need help with that because it's deeply repressed subconsciously. Sometimes it has to be moved in color or energy or sound, toning, singing bowls, sound. Sometimes it's done by regression or another way, or counseling or healing. There are many, many, many ways this can be done. But it's letting go of the old, letting go of the old projected programs, projections, old soul energy, old habits, old addictions, sometimes old beliefs that no longer serve you, old ways of being, old ways of living, inauthentic ways. And again, your authenticity is different to your other people that you know. You can get very caught up in other people's judgments of how you should and shouldn't be living your life. Your truth may not be my truth, but it's your truth. And therefore, you are being authentic. And authenticity carries a certain frequency or vibration, and you will know when you are living from there. So this is the kind of golden time for that, because like I say, lots of global changes. The negativity on the planet, despite how it looks, has been weakening consistently since 2021 and is still weakening, but it's still there and is still active and is still having an effect on people's lives. But the ascension reality, oh my word, has just morphed significantly, and there is no stopping it. This is what it's all linked to what I'm saying, because people are coming into the new energy templates, or what's an ascension template within themselves, unification template within themselves, and this old repressed stuff cannot survive in it. Resistance is unbearable and untenable within it. And again, you know, the golden rules apply. Get yourself into nature, get yourself grounded. You are an electrical circuit as well as living, breathing consciousness and all that you are. Grounding yourself, discharging energy, taking back energy from the earth, connecting to the earth, connecting consciously to others, being consciously aware of your actions. That's a very hard thing for humans to do at first, because most of what they do is unconscious, triggered programming from their childhood. People get caught up in the same places over and over again. Core soul wounds. There's a video on my channel telling you how to heal the core soul wound. I think I brought that out 5 or 6 years ago. You just have to type that in. There's another one about inner child healing. All of the places that people commonly get caught up in. So it's a crazy, but a mad, insane, but incredible time to be alive, because these changes are happening like that now, so fast. And if you thought last year was fast, this year is going to be even faster. And you just have to have this 0 point mindset, that you're not on the roundabout going so fast you can barely see it. You're in the center of the roundabout, and that's going round you. And you are like this. You know, you're observing it all. Yes, you are connected to it all, but you're observing it all. You're not being dragged round in it all. You're like this. So lots and lots of change. It is going to affect everybody. It's going to affect everybody's lives. Obviously, a lot of my focus is on relationships, the relationship one has with oneself and with others. I guess the most important thing is really observing and noticing what you're doing. This is what it's called, conscious competence. It's called conscious competence. Recognizing those things that you do automatically, the things that you're addicted to, or the things that you're doing automatically that you know are making you miserable, but you feel compelled to keep doing them. It's like having a look at things like this, because they're unconscious material, and then it's what's under that. And I say nobody has to do it alone. In fact, it's probably more important now than it's ever been to be connecting consciously with other people as well. Other people that are able to let you connect consciously with them, because this is a time where there is massive triggering going on, with people triggering as they go into their heart, but the ones that aren't going into their heart are triggering massively. And there's a lot of like repressed matter coming up in people, where people are angry, or you know, almost not realizing what they're doing. And again, we're sort of seeing an increase in that at the moment, which in a way is to be expected in this time of extraordinary change. But it's going to be an extraordinary year. You know, extraordinary, and all bets are off really, because there are a number of things that can let's say appear on the world stage. And what I would say is go into your heart and question everything. Be discerning about absolutely everything that you're being told, particularly if it comes out of the box, the TV in the corner. You have to be able to make your own conclusions and decisions on things, not by what's coming out of the programming out of the box in the corner, about every aspect of your life and what's going on globally. And if it doesn't sit true to you, it doesn't seem true to you, do your research, which you will not find in the mainstream. You will find in the alternative, as to what sits true to you and what doesn't. But the important thing at the end of the day is you've got to be true to yourself. And on that note, I will love you and leave you. Once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. Drop me an email if you wouldn't mind, if you would like me to do live events in your country, workshops in your country, online teachings, online events, or if you're someone that can facilitate that. The more the merrier. I love doing that kind of thing. I'm at my best doing that kind of thing. My soul, to live my truth, is to tell me to get back out there and do that kind of thing. So I'm following that. So it'll be interesting to see the interest. I'm quite happy to do both online live events, perhaps teaching things. Some perhaps I'll charge a tiny little fee for, some will be free, and you know, I'm quite happy to travel now that we can travel for a while anyway, um, and we'll take it from there. So take care of yourselves, guys, and peace out.